Epsilon-level mutants. These mutants sit at the very bottom of the mutant classification system. Their X gene has activated, but the resulting mutation provides little to no practical advantage. In many cases, their abilities are non-combative, extremely limited, or functionally useless in dangerous situations. Some Epsilon mutants do not display a power at all in the traditional sense. Instead, their mutation manifests as a physical change, such as altered skin color, unusual growths, extra limbs, or distorted facial features. These traits do not enhance strength, speed, or survivability, and they often make everyday life significantly harder rather than easier. A defining characteristic of Epsilon mutants is that their mutations are usually impossible to hide. Unlike higher-level mutants who can blend into human society and activate their powers only when needed, Epsilon mutants often wear their difference openly. This makes them especially vulnerable to fear, discrimination, and social isolation. Their mutations may provoke disgust or hostility from humans who do not understand them, leading many Epsilon mutants to withdraw from society altogether. This is one reason why communities like the Morlocks exist. Living in sewers and abandoned underground spaces, the Morlocks provide refuge for visibly mutated individuals who cannot safely live among humans. While not all Morlocks are Epsilon-level mutants, many of them fall into this category. A clear example of an Epsilon mutant is Artie Maddox. His mutation transformed him into a pink, hairless being with enlarged eyes and strange cranial growths. Instead of conventional speech, Artie communicates by projecting holographic images that represent his thoughts. Characters like Beak, whose mutation gives him bird-like features without meaningful combat advantages, illustrate how Epsilon mutants exist at the margins of the mutant world. Although they make up roughly 20% of the mutant population, they are often overlooked because their struggles are rooted in survival and acceptance rather than power or heroism. Delta-level mutants represents the most common classification within the mutant population, accounting for roughly half of all mutants. Their powers are real and measurable, but they are not overwhelmingly destructive or reality-altering. Unlike Epsilon mutants, Delta mutants usually do not suffer from severe physical deformities or highly visible mutations. Their abilities tend to enhance specific traits rather than rewrite biology or physics. These powers are often subtle, situational, and practical, giving Delta mutants an advantage without placing them at the center of world-ending conflicts. Most Delta mutant abilities function as amplifiers rather than weapons. Instead of raw strength or energy projection, these mutants may experience heightened intelligence, probability manipulation, accelerated learning, enhanced perception, or intuitive understanding of complex systems. Domino is a well-known example. Her mutation unconsciously alters probability in her favor when she is actively engaged in danger. This does not make her invulnerable, nor does it protect her if she remains passive. Her survival depends on movement and decision-making. Another example is Forge, whose mutation grants him an instinctive understanding of technology. He can invent, repair, and modify machines without formal schematics or complete theoretical knowledge. His power does not generate energy blasts or physical enhancements, but it makes him indispensable in situations requiring rapid innovation. Similarly, mutants like Cypher possess enhanced linguistic or cognitive abilities, allowing them to instantly understand languages, symbols, or data structures. These powers rarely dominate a battlefield, but they change the outcome of missions through strategy, information, and adaptability. Delta mutants are valued for their reliability and utility rather than spectacle. Their powers function consistently and improve their effectiveness in everyday scenarios, scientific problem-solving, intelligence gathering, or tactical support. While they are unlikely to overpower enemies through brute force, Delta-level mutants often become critical team members because their abilities quietly influence success. Gamma-level mutants possess abilities that are undeniably powerful, but those abilities come with significant drawbacks that affect their daily lives. Unlike Delta mutants, whose powers are subtle and easily managed, Gamma mutants often experience mutations that are difficult to control, physically intrusive, or socially isolating. Their powers can be extremely effective in combat or crisis situations, but they are paired with flaws that prevent these mutants from living comfortably or blending into human society. One of the defining traits of gamma-level mutants is visible mutation. While their abilities may function well, their physical appearance often marks them as non-human at first glance. Blink is a clear example. Her ability to create teleportation portals and energy-based attacks makes her a powerful combatant, but her lilac skin, distinctive facial markings, and unusual hair color make concealment impossible. Her power gives her mobility and offensive capability, yet her appearance exposes her to constant prejudice and fear from the outside world. Nightcrawler is another classic gamma-level mutant. His teleportation ability allows him to instantly relocate to places he can visualize, making him nearly impossible to restrain in combat. He also possesses enhanced agility and wall-crawling abilities. However, his blue fur, tail, pointed ears, and glowing yellow eyes make him resemble a demon, causing many to fear him regardless of his actions. Beast follows a similar pattern. His enhanced strength, agility, and intellect are formidable assets, but his blue fur, claws, and animalistic features ensure that he can never pass as human. Gamma-level mutants may also struggle with powers that are dangerous by nature. Mystique's shapeshifting allows her to infiltrate and manipulate with ease, but her natural form, with blue skin and yellow eyes, makes her an immediate target when her powers are inactive. What separates gamma mutants from lower classifications is not a lack of power, but the cost of that power. Their abilities often create constant obstacles rather than freedom. Society reacts to them with fear, and even among mutants, they may struggle for acceptance. Despite this, gamma-level mutants frequently choose to act as heroes or protectors. Their stories emphasize that strength alone does not determine quality of life, and that heroism often comes from enduring hardship rather than avoiding it. Beta-level mutants. They possess abilities that approach the power of alpha-level mutants, but with notable limitations that prevent full mastery. Their powers are strong, often combat capable, and highly valuable, yet they are burdened by flaws such as instability, incomplete control, physical side effects, or psychological strain. These weaknesses do not negate their effectiveness, but they introduce risk, unpredictability, and personal cost. A defining feature of beta mutants is that their powers are always active or difficult to suppress. Wolverine is a prime example. His accelerated healing factor allows him to recover from nearly any injury, making him extraordinarily durable. However, his mutation also altered his skeletal structure, giving him retractable claws housed within his forearms. His healing factor cannot be turned off, meaning his body is constantly regenerating and adapting, leaving him unable to live a truly normal life. His power is a survival advantage, but it also traps him in a permanent state of mutation. Gambit represents another form of beta-level limitation. He can charge objects with kinetic energy, causing them to explode on impact. While he has refined control over this ability, physical indicators such as his glowing red eyes and darkened sclera reveal his mutant nature. His mutation does not hinder combat effectiveness, but it prevents full anonymity. Quicksilver's superhuman speed places him in the same category. His movement and reflexes far exceed human limits, making him a powerful asset in battle. However, controlling that speed is mentally taxing, and the constant acceleration and sensory overload create long-term psychological strain. Rogue's mutation illustrates the dangers of beta-level instability. Her ability to absorb memories, skills, and powers through physical contact was initially uncontrollable. Any skin-to-skin contact posed a risk of harming others and overwhelming her own identity. Although she later gained partial control, the early stages of her mutation isolated her from physical connection and forced her into emotional withdrawal. Her powers were immense, but their unpredictability made them dangerous to both herself and those around her. Beta-level mutants are defined by potential constrained by consequence. Their powers can shape battles and change outcomes, but misuse or loss of control can cause unintended harm, unlike alpha mutants, who wield their abilities with precision and choice. Beta mutants must constantly manage risk. Their classification reflects a balance between strength and instability, highlighting that raw power alone does not guarantee mastery or freedom. Alpha-level mutants, defined by a balance of high capability and reliable control. Their abilities are powerful, versatile, and effective, yet they do not come with the uncontrollable drawbacks seen in beta or gamma classifications. Most alpha mutants can activate and deactivate their powers at will, allowing them to live functional lives within human society. Physically, they usually appear human when their powers are dormant, which gives them a significant social advantage compared to visibly mutated mutants. Control is the key distinction of alpha-level mutants. Kitty Pryde exemplifies this classification. Her ability to phase through solid matter allows her to pass through walls, floors, and objects without harm. She can regulate her density with precision, preventing accidents such as becoming stuck inside solid material. Her mutation functions exactly as intended with minimal risk to herself or others. Dazzler similarly demonstrates alpha-level control. She converts sound into light and energy, using noise as fuel to generate dazzling light displays or focused energy blasts. When inactive, she appears completely normal, and her powers activate only when she chooses to use them. Colossus further illustrates the alpha classification. He can transform his organic tissue into a metallic form, dramatically increasing his strength and durability. Crucially, this transformation is reversible. When combat ends, he can return to his human state, allowing him to interact with the world without constant exposure or fear. Cyclops provides an important example of progression within the classification system. Early in his life, his optic blasts were uncontrollable, requiring a visor to regulate them. Once he learned discipline and precision in managing his power output, he became an alpha-level mutant capable of using his abilities strategically and safely. Alpha mutants represent stability within the mutant population. Their power is not limitless, but it is dependable, making them ideal leaders, defenders, and long-term protectors. Their abilities enhance their lives rather than dominate them. Omega-level mutants. Omega-level mutants represent the highest possible classification, defined not by raw strength alone, but by the absence of an upper limit to their power. Their abilities operate on a scale that cannot be surpassed by another mutant within the same category. While alpha and beta mutants possess impressive capabilities, their powers have measurable ceilings. Omega mutants do not. Their potential continues to expand, often with age, experience, or emotional growth, making them existential threats as well as cosmic assets. Franklin Richards occupies the extreme end of this classification. His reality warping powers allow him to create entire universes, alter timelines, and rewrite physical laws. His abilities are not situational enhancements, but foundational changes to existence itself. Proteus, similarly, alters reality by manipulating the laws of physics in his surrounding environment, reshaping matter, energy, and space according to his will. Other notable Omega-level mutants include Iceman, whose control over ice and thermal energy extends to molecular-level manipulation, Legion, whose multiple personalities each manifest distinct and powerful psychic abilities, and Hope Summers, who can replicate and amplify the powers of other mutants without degradation. What unites Omega mutants is not just power, but inevitability. Their abilities function as forces of nature rather than tools. Once unleashed, their influence reshapes environments, civilizations, and sometimes reality itself. And that's the full mutant power ladder, from barely noticeable gene hiccups to reality warping forces that make physics nervous. Whether a mutation gives you holographic thoughts, improbably good luck, or the ability to casually rearrange existence, the X gene never hands out power evenly. It hands out consequences. Let me know in the comments which classification you'd fall into, and if this breakdown helped, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more deep dives into Marvel's mutant lore.